Patch 38 and SHINBI are finally here, and tomorrow you can get your hands on her. But before that, let's take a look at patch 38 and the new features as well as what's coming up in the next few weeks. Hero fixes. Grim finally got some love. They fixed his deflector shield to allow him to walk through Aurora's Hoarfrost, which I think is a big change. Whether or not this actually encourages people to play Grim against the Auroras that appear in almost every game, I'm not quite sure, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. They also sped up Richter's ultimate, Skewer. I'll be the first to admit that I have used the ultimate and really messed up, so this is a change that would definitely save me some embarrassment. No! No! I'm trash. Although I still think, like Grim, Richter needs some work. Now this is something that I really appreciate because, well, I make builds and guides. They released their first version of the web deck builder. A link is in the description below if you wish to try it out. This browser based tool will allow you to create and tweak your decks when you're away from the game. We also have a new test build feature that will allow you to see your stats based on in-game hero level with different cards equipped. They also go on to say that with the recent announcement of our plans to rework the card system, this feature is the initial version while the new system is built. We have plans for features like importing and sharing so you can brag about your optimal builds and compare them with friends, or so Ace can share them in his YouTube videos. Okay, that last part wasn't real. Also, we're planning on enhanced mobile view in the future with our new card system. I played around with the deck builder quite a bit and it does offer a great insight into your builds, as it allows you to view your stats at specific levels, customize where you should be inserting your cards, and it does a good job of presenting all of this in a clean and easy to understand way. I definitely want to be able to share the decks as well as import and export them, so I'm glad that this is something they have planned for in the future. Now onto the actual game. They have updated backdoor protection. It now grants a percentage of damage resistance instead of adding 500 of both armor types. To reduce matchmaking times, they have reduced the tier 1 tower bonus armor duration from 7 minutes to 5 minutes. I know this change was happening because it was mentioned on the Reddit, but what do you guys think about this? Because I know towers are a very touchy subject, and this is a pretty big nerf to tier 1 towers, especially for the offlaner who already finds their tower falling so quickly. Another notable change is that assists will no longer fully reset a death streak. It will now reduce the death streak counter by 1. There wasn't much hero balancing, although they did mention some future changes which I will talk about once we get done with the patch notes. The phase flytrap will now deploy in 0.3 seconds instead of 1 second. Grim's deflector shield will now block the application of Aurora's abilities Cryocism and Hoarfrost, potentially making him the only carry immune to Aurora, depending on if this actually works. They fixed the bug that allowed Grux, Sevarog and Steel to charge ridiculously far off ledges, and Howitzer can now again use his landmine ability and other abilities while being knocked by himself. So like I said, not much, but they did mention that they're looking at Steel's ult range as well as tweaks to Bellica, such as increasing Void Bomb range and how the Void Drone works, potentially having it reduce mana based off max mana percentage rather than a flat amount like it currently does, as well as giving her ultimate natural power scaling. This is something we can expect to see in the next patch or two. 10 cards are also being rebalanced, and they teased a new card called Burst Cleanse, which passive takes a percentage of max health and in Y seconds activates a cleanse. Now anything I do mention here is obviously not set in stone. Banners and skin variants are targeted for 38.2, which is in 2 weeks time, so not long now, and the 10 card reworks as well as 19 hero rebalances are expected in 38.3. We got a tiny bit of information on how banners will work. They will drop down on tower kills, so whoever has the last hit will have their banner drop down. I'd imagine where the tower is. I also assume that the player kills will also drop banners, but I'm not too sure, especially because they could be really chaotic in the middle of a battle. So overall, not that many game-changing changes. I think once we see the big balance passes come in patch 38.3, I'll have a lot more to talk about, or even when the banners are released, because from the data mine images, I think they look pretty insane, especially these ones. Let me know what you think of the new web deck builder as well. I really think the in-game one could do with some upgrading, so I'm hoping that when they release the new card system in the next few months that a new deck builder accompanies it. Now before I leave you guys, here's some SHINBI lore that Epic dropped during the live stream.
So on the hook. We're going to just hop right into SHINBI's lore. Fee is from the home moon of Letha in the Agoran system. Letha. Alright?
It's a great moon.
She's a descendant from a long line of shaman conjurers. Okay? She was raised with the spirits and she uses her magic as a last resort. Now, she's not supposed to, again, based on the lore, use her powers willy-nilly, essentially, right? After Shinbi's brother, Kwong, and now if you guys remember, during Kwong's dev stream, we mentioned that Kwong was tied to a future hero, hero number 28. Shinbi is hero number 28.
What an odd coincidence.
Odd coincidence. Brother
Very
and
weird.
sister.
Yeah.
Brother and sister.
Yeah.
All right. So after Kwong left their village in pursuit of the legendary sword, if you guys remember, he had a showdown
Yeah,
with
that
our
was-
main man Greystone over this sword, right?
Duel
And he
of
got
the
the
century.
sword back, so I don't know what happened in that fight.
It's
but
like
he got
that,
his sword back.
That's a classic case of game respect game. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Lots
They
of
understood
lore,
it.
lots
They
of
had an
lore, guys.
understanding.
She decided to take a break from tradition and go on her own quest. Okay, so Shinbi saw what her brother was doing and said, "Hey, I need to do something for myself." All right, she left to a new world in Omida. She was one of the first to leave, and Omida is a large futuristic city on a different moon, where she was able to use her powers to make a living. Now, what Brian told me I should also tell was that she was pushed, and we've done this now with Kwong, and we're going to do it with Shinbi. She was pushed by a future hero to actually use her powers in order to become a pop star. All right? All right? So, now you guys know that Shinbi has quite a bit of a backstory. She has branched out, sprouted her wings, and now she's doing her own thing. And she is arguably the most popular
I mean, she is
person in the system,
right. She
possibly the universe.
Yeah, I mean, she may not know all of her fans, but they know
All
who
of her
she
fans
is.
know
but
her.
they know
Exactly.
who she is.
All right.
They know who she is.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe for all the latest Paragon content, and I'll see you guys soon.